If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Take a look at what the first round of that Democratic fight looked like. Nearly 42 million Americans lost their SNAP food assistance benefits. They were suffering. More than 5.2 million airline passengers faced flight delays and cancellations. 1.4 million federal workers went weeks without pay. And the White House estimates the economy lost about $15 billion every week of those 6 weeks. A massive hit of $90 billion over the entire shutdown. When you count everything all up, you can count them. 10 zeros. House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain comes up in focus.
News for you from Senator Fetterman's team. During an early walk, he sustained a fall near his home. Out of an abundance of caution, he was transported to a hospital. Upon evaluation, it was established he had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to him feeling lightheaded, falling to the ground, and hitting his face with minor injuries. Senator Fetterman, always in good spirits, always an optimist, quipped to his team, "If you thought my face looked bad before, wait until you see it now." And then he thanked the EMTs. Our prayers to Senator Fetterman. America reports.
Yeah, our prayers to Senator Fetterman, too, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. We have a lot to do today, and I'm going to get right to it. Senator Fetterman was on with CNN's Dana Bash, and in light of him falling and what could have been a really horrific incident, which thankfully he survived, he had something pretty remarkable to share with CNN's Dana Bash. That is cut 10. Carlos, let us begin with Senator Fetterman and with Dana Bash.
You said, quote, "I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left." That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No, it's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms, really what's kind of the harshest, what's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, "Oh, blue sky, it's blue sky." And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names, some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one. They claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life? Just really I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die, literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online.
Democrats online. We have what I'd like to do. I have a bunch of stories today. I just call it Democrats acting badly. And I want to get to that. There's some other things in the news, folks, that I want to get to before that. The Catholic bishops yesterday, it's a conference, America's Roman Catholic bishops yesterday rebuked the Trump administration's aggressive deportation campaign. The New York Times reports this. They say, in a rare and near unanimous statement that framed the immigration crisis in starkly moral terms. The statement, passed at the bishops' annual conference in Baltimore, did not call out President Trump by name, but the context was clear. The bishops said they oppose the indiscriminate mass deportation of people. They pray for an end to dehumanizing rhetoric and violence, whether directed at immigrants or at law enforcement. We as Catholic bishops love our country, pray for its peace and prosperity, they said. For this very reason, we feel compelled now in this environment to raise up our voices in defense of God-given human dignity. Yesterday, also, the U.S. Catholic bishops voted to officially ban Catholic hospitals from performing what is called, and they still report it as, gender-affirming care for any transgender patients. It's amazing how the left adopts this language. Basically, the bishops suggested that Catholic hospitals, said they banned Catholic hospitals from performing child mutilations, because that's what they are. And so more than 1 in 7 patients in America, and I did not know this, 1 in 7, are treated every day at Catholic hospitals, according to the Catholic Health Association. So they say also Catholic providers will continue to welcome those who seek medical care from us and identify as transgender. We'll continue to treat these individuals with dignity and respect, which is consistent with Catholic social teaching and our moral obligations. So, okay. So you have those two things. My first response on this deportation was, I remember when the church, not just the Catholic Church, and those of you who know me or listened for years know that I have a deep respect for church institutions, and I do, and I'm aware, just like you are aware, of all of the things that have transpired over these past few decades, what we've learned happens inside some of these institutions that are horrific. But nonetheless, the overwhelming majority of people that either believe or that are practitioners of the faith or that themselves had these faiths are decent people. That said, there's a lot to go. I remember when the church used to actually teach people to obey the law. And I just found it, I'll use a kind word, regrettable that the stance was we're against these mass deportations. Well, you didn't raise Catholic bishops your hands and say this mass violation of American law where you have 11 million people crossing unvetted into America, there was something wrong with the mass importation of this, and it's for political design. So I think that I found that statement on lacking. I am all for people being treated with dignity, respect, and humanity. It should be that way. In fact, there have been times when I've read reports and I've questioned, of course you have to question whether news that you get is accurate, of things that are happening supposedly inside the deportation facilities where people are being held, and I certainly don't know. I don't know who to believe. I would like to believe that our government would never mistreat anybody or have humane conditions as we engage in this mass deportation effort, and I certainly hope that's the case. If it isn't, it needs to be corrected. At the same time, I think there's something terribly wrong with leadership in the church basically giving a wink and a nod, and it's more than a wink and a nod. There were some religious actors helping to undermine American law with the importation of illegal immigrants. And I don't know why they don't address that as well. So I found that statement very much lacking by the bishops. I think it's political in nature. Aside from the spiritual component, which is that we should, of course, treat people in a manner that human beings deserve to be treated, even as we deport them en masse, which should continue unabated. All right, off the checklist. Let's see. I've got so many other things here. I'm looking at the clock to see whether... Let's do this, Carlos. Let's leave us some time for a change, because there's some other topics that I want to get into. Things are happening. Oh, I finally found out what this hemp thing is. You know, the shutdown. Rand Paul was objecting to this, and I kept saying, the hemp. What are they talking about? Oh, folks, if you buy some of these hemp-infused drinks, you're going to be unhappy with what happened with the shutdown bill. James Golden, Snerdley, don't go away. Keep it right here. We've got so much more to cover on this edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour.
Rush.
This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
So before the break, ladies and gentlemen, we were discussing the Catholic bishops and their stance, very critical of American efforts, of Donald Trump's administration's effort at deportation. And I got a question from America's big caffeinated dad, that would be Grant Schrock, who says, are they condemning the leaders of the countries these people are fleeing from? And I don't know the answer to that. I very rarely see that the Catholic bishops are that invested in America. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they have condemned them. But all the emphasis seems to be on Donald Trump and what we're doing and with this mass deportation effort. Mass deportation in the news every day. Cut 17, Carlos. Here's how it was in the news today. This is a Deputy ICE Director, Madison Sharon, speaking on events that transpired in Florida.
In just 10 days, we've been able to remove, in partnership with the state of Florida, over 230 of the worst heinous criminals from their streets. Our job as law enforcement is to protect the most vulnerable. Democrats will tell you that is the criminal illegal aliens who they have let run free in our communities, but not this group of law enforcement. We know that it's the children that is our job to protect. These men and women put their lives on the line every single day to protect the children of their communities and protect the American people and put them first. And that's just what we've done. These heinous criminals have gone and attacked children at their most vulnerable state, and law enforcement has stepped up to the plate to remove them from the communities. Over the last 10 days, we have removed 54 sexual predators, 164 offenders of sexual crimes, 2 convicted murderers, 1 convicted of drug trafficking, and 8 other heinous felonies.
There's also another incident that took place in Florida. There's a local CBS station down there. in Florida. And Cut 19, they had this report.
31-year-old Cynthia Saucedo Torres is charged with human trafficking, deriving support from prostitution, money laundering, child neglect, and keeping a house of ill fame. PBSO says multiple brothels in Palm Beach County and one in Fort Myers were run by Torres and some of her family members. And PBSO says minors were being exploited in those brothels. Our sources say Cynthia was an underling of Brenda Brito, one of the most notorious leaders in this organization. PBSO says as investigators were closing in on Brenda Brito, Cynthia fled to Mexico, leaving 3 minor children, ages 10, 12, and 17, unattended for approximately 4 months.
We got the edge of it. So you have all of this activity surrounding people that are here illegally. No word from any of the bishops about that. Also, let's go out to the next coast, the left coast of America, California. Cut 15, something that has been in the news because of deaths on American Highway. This is the local ABC station out there reporting on what just took place in California.
California is revoking 17,000 commercial driver's licenses issued to immigrants.
Yeah, the decision is directly related to the legal status of the immigrant drivers.
Eyewitness News reporter Madison Weil live in our newsroom with these details. Madison.
Yeah, John, Rachel, Tony, that's right. The state says the licenses are being revoked because they're set to expire after the date the drivers are allowed to be in the U.S. The move follows pressure from the Trump administration, although California says these licenses violate an existing standard that was already in place. A nationwide audit was recently launched after a man from India with a commercial driver's license issued by California allegedly killed 3 people in Florida while making an illegal U-turn back in August. After that incident and a national review, the Department of Transportation threatened to pull $160 million in federal funding from California, claiming the state is issuing commercial driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. Still, Governor Newsom says that every driver whose license is being revoked had valid work authorizations from the federal government.
From Biden.
Another horrific crash that has kept this issue in the spotlight is one that happened in Ontario last month. It involved an undocumented man from India who is now facing vehicular manslaughter and reckless driving charges after 3 people died in that fiery wreck. In September, the U.S. Department of Transportation implemented new rules for commercial drivers.
Yeah. Okay, we got the gist of it, folks. It goes on with the reporting. So 17,000. California gave 17,000 licenses to illegal aliens. The Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, has been adamant about getting this, and he has stopped funds, and he has threatened all kind of legal action with California. And finally, they're rescinding now these licenses. But their excuses, they had work permits. They had work permits. This was part of the mass migration that Joe Biden left. Unvetted people, many could not speak English, on America's roads. And this has gone unchecked, and deaths have resulted. That's just some of it. And you heard the reports coming out of Florida, the murderers, the rape, the child exploitation. And yet, the administration is being criticized by the Catholic bishops for deportations. It's amazing. We'll be back. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
Breaking this afternoon, a former aide to Governor Newsom has been indicted on federal charges accused of stealing campaign money from Javier Becerra. Dana Williamson appeared in court today in Sacramento and pleaded not guilty to all charges. Becerra was California's attorney general before being appointed health secretary by former President Biden. The indictment also lists 4 other accomplices. The governor released a statement saying in part he expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity.
Yeah. James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Fastest hour in American media. And I thank my audience. I have such a great audience, and those of you who are able to contact me during the show, it's wonderful. America's Doctor contacted me. He generated some research for me. Catholic Charities, this is the group, the Catholic bishops that have attacked the Trump administration for mass deportation. Catholic Charities, according to this research, receives a significant amount of government funding, estimating the estimates are roughly 2/3 of their annual spending comes from the federal government. For instance, federal government grants can exceed $500 million. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, that's the group that directly attacked Donald Trump's administration for mass deportations yesterday, received over $129 million in federal grants for 2023 for refugee and migrant services. That equates to 95% of their spending on those programs. So I guess what happens if there's deportations and there's In 2015, the Washington Times reported Catholic Charities USA received about $65,000 of their annual budget from state and federal governments. And it goes on and on. Now, look, I want to be really clear again. I am not attacking the Catholic Church. People do. I don't. In fact, I'm not a Catholic, but I attend Mass when invited with my friends. Every time I go to Mass, I leave feeling uplifted. And again, I just want to be really clear. I agree with the position that the new Pope has stated, and that immigrants need to be treated humanely, of course. I think it almost should go without saying, and with respect to human dignity. I absolutely 100% yes. That said, the church has a responsibility, or churches used to think they had a responsibility, to teach that unless there's an unjust law, but if the laws of a nation are just, then those laws should be respected and followed. And the church used to be instrumental in helping to establish the moral compass of a nation by teaching and respecting the law. And I don't see that as being present in this statement that the conference made about mass deportations, which is following the law. Okay. Going to move from that. This hemp discussion, by the way, this hemp thing goes deep, folks. Part of the shutdown bill, Congress has now tightened THC restrictions on hemp. They say that closes the farm bill loophole. And Mitch McConnell was a champion of the 28 legislation, but he says that companies have exploited the farm bill loophole to legally formulate products with enough THC to get their consumers high, and that's what they wanted to stop. So, as a part of this shutdown bill, popular THC-infused drinks and edibles may be disappearing from store shelves. And the hemp industry is up in arms over this. And one of the things about the hemp industry, I had to do some research because all my life I've been hemp and marijuana. It's the same plant. Well, it's the same species of plant. The hemp actually has a less potent dose of THC when you get into it, THC, and so it's not used as much, I guess, by people who, but anyway, apparently it still is enough to get people high when it's in enough quantity. That's what the big fight is. I find it interesting. Carlos, do you know, and I always put you on the spot, and I don't mean to do it to put you on the spot, but do you know that hemp has a role in the fortunes of the American founders, some of them?
No idea. I had no idea.
George Washington, father of the country. Others.
Dollar bill.
Thomas Jefferson and many of the other founders grew hemp and used it. Now, they also made products out of it. But they did. Thomas Jefferson reflected that he used to like to smoke hemp on his estate down there in Monticello. Smoking hemp, boinking the slaves. He had quite the life, didn't he? Okay, moving on. You heard, coming back, the aide, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, charged with corruption. That's the case. There are other things happening as well in the news of the Democrats. First and center, there's another Democrat staffer in trouble. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that a staff member from Democrat Senator Tammy Duckworth's office falsely claimed to be an attorney and went into an ICE facility and, using the idea that this person was an attorney, falsely sprung an country. And I keep waiting for Tammy Duckworth's office to release some kind of statement, but they haven't. Okay? Let's see. This, according to the letter, a U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement Acting Director Todd Lyons said that the staffer told federal agents he was the attorney of Jose Ismael Ayuso Sandoval, a 40-year-old illegal immigrant previously deported 4 times to Mexico, a person with DUI convictions, and sprung him. Okay. In another bit of news, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced today that an individual attempted to confront acting U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Habba, on Wednesday night. They destroyed property in her office. Thankfully, she got away unharmed. That person then fled the scene. And right now, Pam Bondi said, we're going to find this person. The individual will be brought to justice. Our federal prosecutors, agents, and law enforcement partners put their lives on the line every day to protect the American people, and the DOJ is going to use every legal tool available to ensure their safety and hold these violent offenders culpable. More. A federal judge in New Jersey has ruled today, ladies and gentlemen, that the Justice Department can proceed with the case against Democrat Representative LaMonica McIver, accused of assaulting an immigration agent outside the privately run jail where thousands of immigrants, illegal immigrants, are awaiting deportation. Her lawyers say, of course, she's innocent. They had no comment. But they said in court papers they plan to appeal the decision if the judge ruled, as he has now, that her claim that she was immune from prosecution because she was at the jail to conduct a congressional oversight visit should preclude her from being charged. She's trying to claim congressional immunity. And I guess it's not working. There's a lot still to go to in the aftermath of the shutdown. We will be getting to that later. I've been on the shutdown so much I want to we'll get to that later. Have you heard the voice of the new mayor of Seattle? She will remind you of somebody, ladies and gentlemen. She will remind you of someone else. Cut 9. Her name is Katie Wilson. It was a tight race, and so it was just announced earlier in the week that she had won the race. This is the new mayor-elect of Seattle.
Access to affordable, healthy food is a basic right. We cannot allow giant grocery chains to stomp all over our communities, close stores at will, and leave behind food deserts. Together we can build a Seattle where fresh food is for everyone, not just for those who can afford it. Food deserts are not natural. Corporations create them when they abandon our communities. As mayor, I'm excited to step up and with UFCW explore public option grocery stores to fill those gaps.
So here's another one. Not only is she going to do the Mamdani, she's going to have government grocery stores, open them in Seattle. She is going to stop grocery stores from closing. Kind of. I think we need a No Queens rally or something. She's going to herself stop a business from closing. The business can be losing high crime, whatever. You know, there's a good illustration of this. I don't have the story in front of me. San Francisco had a mall in the middle of San Francisco, and I forget the name of the mall, but it was valued at over $1.2 billion. They just had to fire sale the thing. It went up, I think, for $120 million it sold because the crime was so bad in San Francisco, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi's stomping ground, that nobody would go to the mall anymore. Business after business after business. They had the major stores in there. Left. Customers stopped coming, and as a result, the mall is the most famous mall in San Francisco, and it's now vacant. And they've had to do a fire sale on it. Businesses cannot operate in this kind of lawlessness. And so what you have is this now socialist mayor, who, by the way, this mayor there, I don't know whether she lived with mommy and daddy, but mom and daddy supported her. She didn't even work on her own. She was still getting support from mommy and daddy as she ran for mayor, and she just won. And one of the first things she wants to do, I'm going to stop large chain grocery stores from closing, and then we'll open up grocery stores. Tell you, these people are amazing. The BBC has now, we played yesterday, BBC. There's been a second tape. BBC accused of another misleading edit of Trump's January 6th. The BBC has been accused of a second misleading edit of Donald Trump's January 6, 2021. According to the Telegraph over there, doctored footage of the speech was aired on BBC Newsnight on June 9th, 2022. 2 years before the Panorama program, which prompted the resignation of BBC's General Tim Davie and the head of news, Deborah Turnus. So now they found a second one. Trump's already suing them for $1 billion, he said. He may want to sue them now for $2 billion and also have his warriors go through the BBC archives because they may be more. We talked briefly, ladies and gentlemen, about California and their plan to introduce the first of its kind billionaires tax. This is coming at the behest of one of the biggest unions, the SEIU out there, UHW, is behind this effort to tax billionaires exclusively. I'm going to have more on that as the week unfolds because there's some pushback that's starting to happen. One of the most hilarious stories of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The Justice Department is now suing to block California's redistricting efforts. I love this so much. The Justice Department said today that they are suing to block new congressional district boundaries approved by California voters last week. They're joining a court battle that could help determine which party wins control of the House in 2026. The complaint filed in California federal court targets the new congressional map pushed by Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom in response to a similar effort in Texas. And Pam Bondi, this is sure to infuriate Californians when they read her statement, when they hear her statement. And I'm just going to be laughing every step of the way. California's redistricting scheme is a brazen power grab that tramples on the civil rights and mocks the democratic process, she said in an email statement. Governor Newsom's attempt to entrench one-party rule and silence millions of Californians will not stand. So, my friends, it is on. Gotta love it. I'm trying to see if we have time. We have one more from California. We have one more about the redistricting. It's from Wes Moore, but we don't have time for it because he rambles for about 2.5 minutes. We also have, another 2-minute one. Do we have time for we don't. Folks, you wait to hear what they do. I'm going to have to hold this one for tomorrow. What they're doing in Chicago. It's amazing. The money that they're spending on overseas trips for people from Chicago public schools. While the schools fail, they're spending millions to travel abroad and party. James Golden, Snerdley, the fastest hour in American media underway. Do not go away.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush. Now here's James Golden.
My only disappointment in the deal that we have, I strongly wanted a provision added that senators cannot be paid during a shutdown. It's called shared sacrifice. It's called leadership. We were getting paid, but our staff wasn't. I didn't take my salary, but our staff wasn't getting paid, and air traffic controllers and our military. I thought it was the height of hypocrisy. Now, my leadership blocked me from bringing that bill, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep coming.
Excellent. That's good news, my friends. Wow, what a day. By the way, workers, you'd think everybody would be happy to go back to work. Well, for the government, maybe they would. Guess what? The DNC, Democrat National Committee, or Democrat National Commies, whatever you want to call them, they have ordered, after many years of allowing these people to work from home, they've ordered all their employees to go back to work. Their head, Ken Martin, the party chairman, announced at an all-staff meeting on Wednesday that everybody's going to be expected to work in person 5 days a week starting in February. And guess what the Democrats are doing? They are itching and moaning. They don't want to show up for work. This song, this Masquerade, George Benson. It was written by Leon Russell, who passed away in Nashville when he was 74 on this day, and so many others. Superstar, A Song for You, which he said he wrote in 10 minutes. Over 100 acts have covered it. It's amazing. Remembering the great Leon Russell. We got to go, folks. May God bless. Protect each and every single one of you. Your family, your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here and allowing me to be with you. God willing, back tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.